Welcome back to the Everyman Guys. I am Will,
I'm Jim.
and this is episode 11. That's
11. We
That's
just did
insane.
episode 10. We just released, or
episode 10 was a very
It's about
episode
to
10
release.
was a very thankful episode and a
Yes.
very like
Go check
just
it out.
a good feeling episode.
Go watch, share,
I
tell people about it.
I would like to this. You know what I noticed, and I didn't like see it coming.
What's that?
Was that like when we record these, we're like talking more to them than to
I
each
agree.
other. Like we're talking to each other, but it's almost like
For them.
we're talking
Weird.
to each other, but
It's
it's
a
like
Yeah, I
it's
know.
like towards them.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
I did. I thought of that last episode, the 10th.
Also,
Because that was mostly talking to them.
yeah.
Because we really know a lot of the subjects that we're talking about. We both
Yeah.
really know most of
Everything.
what we're talking about. Yeah.
Also, Journey's sitting in on this one, so if she happens to poke in,
If she happens to, meaning when she pokes in.
I didn't have the heart to make her not be present. But I would like to say that I made I had dinner roughly like about an hour ago, and I
I
made
saw your
like
Instagram.
homemade chicken nuggets.
That's nice.
So I like ground like raw chicken up in like a blender. It was relatively disgusting, and then like you make the breading.
You
and
washed the
roll
blender
it into a
thoroughly,
ball.
right?
Yeah, roll it up into a ball, and then you put it in the breading. Oh, very good.
I like that
Very
you're
good.
learning how to cook. It's cool.
It's exciting.
Very cool.
It's an easy way to eat healthy.
Yeah.
So, again, we do this every time. We tell you guys, encourage you guys to follow us on Instagram. And
Yes.
what do you know, Jim? There's another benefit. Is that
What's the benefit, Will?
the benefit is that we put up a sticker on our story and said, "Hey, what would you like the podcast, the next episode to be about?" And
Which
we
is this
got
episode now.
several responses.
Several.
So we're gonna kind of mix
And
two of
match.
them
Yeah.
because we can kind of relate, and it's something that we're interested in, and
Yeah.
it makes sense for us to talk about.
And the second one is yarn and crochet.
That we know zilch about,
Nothing at all.
but we appreciate the response.
Yes.
I didn't ask. I selfishly went on and talked about myself. But how's your week been? Because we're recording this on Thursday, so you've had
It has been.
it has been.
It has been.
I'm glad that it was.
It was. It's been a week.
It's been. That's good.
So today was beautiful, so it made up for
Yeah,
less than
it was like I honestly went outside and was like shocked.
Yeah.
I had because in their office, it's usually roughly around like 63 degrees.
Right.
So I have like a sweater on. So I went outside and it was actually like warm. I
Right.
was surprised
Yeah.
because the day yesterday was
Wet and rainy.
it was like
Gross.
horrible.
Yeah.
Well, not horrible temperature wise. I'm okay with that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
In case you missed that, it was a subtle kick journey for chewing on her paw.
So, yeah, episode 11. It's flying by. We actually just had a discussion today about what we want to do. Like every
We have some cool stuff coming up.
yeah, some cool stuff
Some
coming
cool
to
ideas.
kind of turn it into more of like a show, like we
Yeah.
talked about, as
Yeah.
opposed not that it's not a show already, but
Right.
more than just like a listen along.
Yeah.
We want it to turn into.
You want to be
like-
able to have the visual component do something, because right now it's just looking at us.
Yeah,
And, you know.
that
not
can
that
only
we're-
be so interesting. It's.
I mean,
So, we put up the sticker on our Instagram story, and
she is going to town on her paw.
it was as follows. Episode 11, what should our next episode be about? And we got some
A
responses.
lot of interested. A lot of.
And the one that I would like to start with is how we first became friends.
how we did?
Yeah. So,
It's so weird.
I guess we have to start being friends and
I
kind
know,
of tell
then
how
we'll-
that works
then
out.
We'll figure it out. How long we had this episode being?
We were
We joked.
pretty much the first time we hung out was we were at a water park, and then after that,
A mutual friend I was hanging out with
mutual
a mutual friend of
mutual
ours.
connection brought
Yes.
two together,
Two
and then
together,
two became closer to.
Yeah.
And-
yeah, we're not
and the
becoming
funny
one.
thing
We
is-
became closer to.
And the funny thing is like we never really talked. We weren't close. Even
I don't think
remotely.
we talked like
And-
more than a sentence, like a hi. Hey,
Mhm.
how are you doing?
And
Before.
and you were the first one there. He was. You were early.
You invited us back to your house afterwards. The mutual friend texted. I was like, "Hey, do you want to go?" I was like, "I don't really know him, but sure,
Yeah.
I'll go to his house."
And you came back, and you
I
were the
was
first one there.
and we talked.
And we actually, I can't like remember exactly
Fully.
like.
Well, we were setting up sort of because we were gonna play
Yeah.
ping pong on the
Tabor.
table.
Tabor.
Tabor. We're gonna play
We'll play
ping pong,
ping
on,
pong
Tabor.
on Tabor.
If you know, Tabor is a street in Philly that
Yeah.
you do not want to play ping pong on. But yeah,
Kind of went from kind of like dove in head first.
it was like a big group. It
yeah,
was a big group at 1st
Mhm.
mostly your friends, and then
you tug along sort of
yeah,
that
and then
night.
my friend, one of my close friends, my closest friend at the time, started hanging out with you too, and I started hanging out more often, and then Naomi, who is my girlfriend, by the way, no, if you're just listening to this, and I didn't tell you I mentioned you.
Yeah.
She was your girlfriend's best friend, Paula, who
Mhm.
is also a very good friend of mine, best friend of mine. So we were, liking each other. So then
If I like liking each other.
that kind of helped us along, but I didn't honestly, we didn't even need that. We were kind of
Mhm.
becoming quick friends. So, and then after that, like 3-4 months in, it kind of just whittled down to 6 people, and
It was like
Zip
little
Zip.
bit by little bit, and I know that like the Star Wars thing really kind of
Yeah,
brought us
yeah.
together because it was like I
Will
had never seen
them,
it,
and I had
then
grown up
you,
with them.
you kind of like
Not you,
introduced
I'd
me
grown
to
up with the
that,
movies.
and then did you guys end up staying overnight one of the nights, or did you just stay really late?
We stayed really
We just
late.
stayed really late and watched like 2 of them.
We watched
which
2
is-
of them the first time.
Yeah,
No, we watched 1 of them the first time, and then we watched the 2 of them.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's
we
right.
almost watched
That's
3
right.
of them, I think. But yeah,
Yeah.
we watched the original trilogy, and then we watched the sequel.
That was
trilogy.
really cool.
Yeah,
And then honestly, it was like movies that kind of like made us.
kind of, yeah.
'Cause,
well,
like,
because your
I
first like
said
the
about
first time we hung out, you were like, "Oh, do you ever watch Monsters University?"
Yeah.
This is one of your favorite movies. I was like, "I love Monsters University."
Yeah.
So we quickly realized that we had a lot in common, and
And then from that point, it was kind of just like, like typical like
we were friends.
guy friend stuff. That was like,
Yeah.
for guys, you kind of get really close really fast. I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean,
And also,
I can't-
we talked about this in the first episode. Call back, go watch it. We were going to do a comic book series because
That's what I was
we
gonna
talked
bring up.
about movies, and I had talked about
because
story.
until that point, it was
Yeah.
kind of just like like
yeah, and that was in like December.
yeah,
December, the first year we were hanging. We started
Mhm.
hanging out around September.
yeah. And then
August,
that was
actually.
when
August, and then September, and then
that was when we started talking about doing the comic book
Yep.
and stuff like that.
Yep.
And it was like.
we
Like that was like sort of like, oh, this is cool. Like we
Yeah.
have something more in common because even now we don't have a ton in common.
yeah,
Like
not
we have
really.
like sort of like some interests that like our passions align, and that's kind of what's like
Yeah, I
like
think
what we can relate to.
we're very
but-
different people, but I think that's the reason. I
Not
think
very
it's like-
different personalities though.
No, but I just mean like
just people.
lifestyle
people.
wise.
Yeah.
Like you're more
We don't have to
all
go
the
into
things. You're
like,
more all the things. I'm more
too
the other
deep about
things.
that, but like.
Yeah, but it's
And then the comic book to the filmmaking. That's when I feel like it was
Yeah.
just like really started clicking because
Yep.
it was like we could relate on every aspect of it.
right, exactly. Yeah, we really that's really when it started. I mean, I would say we've been friends for almost 7 years.
I don't remember the date. 2016.
2016.
2016 is when we started. Like that's when we hung out for the
Yeah,
first
so
time.
it's going to be 7 years this August. I would say that we've been like best friends for like 3-4 years. 5?
Not that long.
4? 3?
3.
3?
I have no idea.
I don't even know.
I have no idea.
It just happened that we were just like, yeah, all right. I'm
I
gonna
know,
spend
and
most of
then
my
it
days at
was
your
like,
house.
and now it's just, and then it's kind of just slowly turned into like you're here,
Yeah.
like more than you're not,
Yeah.
and that's like kind of like
We do all the projects we do usually do together.
Well, you kind of have to, especially like with the short films and stuff.
Yeah.
Like we've tried getting on Zoom calls, we've tried doing stuff like that,
Yeah.
and it just kind of works better. Like right now, doing you are too. Like
Yeah, I have come over.
it'd be
every day
kind
this
of
week except
impossible
Wednesday. Yeah.
without you being present.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of like the whole.
Yeah. Kind of was just through a mutual friend. We kind of just started hanging out and then haven't stopped. I mean, other than vacations,
Haven't
pretty
stopped
much hung
at
out every
all.
weekend
Yeah.
in those 7 years. 6 years.
Consistency. So use that same attitude that you have at the gym with your friends.
Yes.
So yeah, that's kind of
the truth.
that's kind of the story.
Yeah.
And not a whole lot of ups, not really any downs.
Did you say not a whole lot of ups?
No, I said a whole
I
lot
was
of
gonna
ups.
say.
I was going to start with not a lot of downs, and then
Right.
I said not, and then I said a whole lot of ups.
Yeah, definitely.
But
I
it's
mean,
like,
in our relationship, I don't think there's been any.
yeah, I don't think so.
You're like, I had that one time that I was furious. But I mean, we've gotten annoyed at each other
Yeah.
plenty of times. But that's not downs. That's just human nature.
Yeah, that's just like existing.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
Yeah,
that's kind of
that's
the whole
pretty
deal.
much the story.
That's the whole situation.
Thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah, thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah.
You who did recommend
Suggest
it.
that. Appreciate it.
So I'm excited to get to the next.
Anytime it's a list about things you want to do, I think you get really excited.
As would be.
As would be.
Let me pull it up. So here it is. Bucket list items, and the items are day trips, vacations, goals, etc. So
Etc. You can tell that that's like some person that maybe teaches.
probably
Yeah. Just because of the sheer glorious
Goal
way he
and-
put that together. With like the whole like, is it a semicolon or just
yeah.
the two dots? I don't know what that's called, but
We know who it is.
yeah, we do.
So that's why.
we know it's a teacher.
Um,
That's the funniness of the joke.
So yeah, if you're not following us on
She's,
Instagram,
like going hard on her paw.
Jern, stop. Jern. Journey.
This is great content.
Journey. Stop. Okay. You don't know. It's a suggestion.
Did you
It's
say
not
keep going?
a command. All right, so let's start with day trips.
Day trips.
So like bucket list,
Day
okay?
trips. Day
So
trips.
a bucket list is like that's like top of the line, like absolutely would
Lists
love to do.
you
It.
would
Not
put
just
in a
like
bucket.
not just like
List you would put in a bucket.
and then at some point take out.
Yeah, a very important bucket.
How
for
big
you.
is the bucket? It doesn't have to be that big. You
Doesn't-
just have to fit the paper with
whatever size you need it to
Got it.
be?
So this isn't just like, oh, this would be fun. It's like bucket list.
You've said bucket list
Bucket
quite a few
list.
times.
Bucket list. It's not even a word.
No.
It's not a bucket list.
No, it's 2 words.
What is a bucket? Bucket.
Stop. This is
Bucket.
not good content. It's
Okay, so you go first.
all about the content.
Let's discuss it
Oh,
and
I
kind
have
of
to
like
go first.
land on what it is,
Um,
because like I know that you had said
what, a
before about
bucket
like
list?
different like stadiums.
That's the
Like
number
baseball
one.
stadiums.
Day trips, I guess that would be the number one. It'd be go to. I really want to go to Boston to Fenway Park baseball stadiums. I really want to go to Pittsburgh. What is that? PNC Park.
Is that a day trip?
Borderline.
It's kind of like
A
I'm
weekend.
like I'm thinking about like
Like a weekend trip.
I'm thinking about like
Purely.
it's got to be
within
within rate mileage.
Well, it's only 5
reasonable
hours
mileage.
to Boston.
You drive
5
5 hours and then 5 hours back plus 4 hours there. That's 113 hours.
That's true. That's a good point.
But you know what I mean? So like if
Yeah.
we're doing day trip,
Day trip.
does that kind of land in that
Well,
category?
Gnome really wants to go. I mentioned you again. Gnome really wants to go to New York, and I think this next month we're going to New York. So that's on my bucket list. I really
if you
wanna go to
haven't
New York
been there,
City.
I could see that.
yeah, I know
could
you
see that.
you don't like it, but I feel like
Well, there's reasoning behind it. It's not just like I
I've
don't
heard
like
the
it.
reasoning, but
It's just like-
all the reasons
It's a
together
lot.
makes
It's
you
a
not like
it's
it.
a
It's a
big
lot.
city, and it's
Yeah.
just
I can
prefer-
imagine. I just never been there. So
I prefer the not city.
Right. Also,
Where that
Washington,
is.
D.C.
Yeah. Can that be a day trip?
Absolutely.
How about we do this? It could be a day trip if you're only there for one day, and then you can come back the next day. Is that still a day trip?
Sure.
Okay, that's what we're doing.
All right,
That's
so
the rules. that's the rule
rules.
of this game.
Okay.
It's like when you're creating a film, you
Yep.
you get the rules out there, and then everyone believes it.
Right. Exactly.
All right,
Sometimes.
so we're saying you just go there and you experience what you're going to experience in a day, and then you come home the next day.
Or you can do it in one day, but that's the.
Yeah, but that
those
kind
are
of
the
limits you a
parameters.
lot.
Yeah.
So that's yours, like number one, top of the list.
What?
Do that. Go to the baseball.
Yes.
Baseball game?
Top of the list.
Which
Up
one
here.
specifically?
If I only had to choose one,
Here's the gun to your head.
I would say Fenway, just because it's so historic.
Fenway
Yeah, and I want to see the Green Monster.
at is it like a night game? Because this is like bucket list, so it's like
I mean either one, night or day.
playoff game.
I mean, yeah.
Bucket list. You can do it whatever you want.
Absolutely. Oh, I can do it. Oh, sick.
Yes.
Gonna happen. The Red Sox would have to first make the playoffs, so
So okay.
I'm not rooting for another team to make the playoffs. I just had to get rid of the Phillies not making the playoffs. So I would say, yeah, Fenway would be the number one goal
That's solid.
because that's a day trip. My number one stadium I really want to go to is Oracle
Yeah.
out in San Francisco. I don't really care to visit San Francisco,
Yeah.
but I really want to visit Oracle Park. It looks beautiful.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, I haven't really even thought about this. Like I have like bucket list vacations, so maybe I'll just jump to that. If that's okay. Is that okay?
If that's what you want to do, that's okay.
I feel like because my reasoning being is I don't know, say like my bucket list day trip would be like if I couldn't do my bucket list vacation, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Not really, because you can just, in this scenario, you can do either one. You can do both.
All right, I'm going to do vacation.
Okay.
Absolute bucket list vacation that I say more than anything is to spend like a week or however long. Let's not put a time on it. Okay?
You're all
Settle
about the
down.
rules. You can just say what you want to say.
I want to go to Utah. I want to go to
Utah.
Utah and I want to just
So you see the Utah Jazz
I want to
play,
hike until my legs fall off.
which won't be very long.
I want to see wildlife. I want to just
you have a
that
dog.
basically just Utah, just in general.
Right.
I feel like every time I think about where would I be, where if I could pick anywhere, it wouldn't be outside the country because I feel like the United States is enormous and I haven't seen like
Yeah, enough of
anything past. Well, I've been out west when I was like before I was even in school, so I
Right.
can't even really remember it. And I was in Colorado, but only to snowboard,
Right.
and that was when I was like 12, I think.
it. Right.
But yeah, to go to Utah, like I want to go to the Salt Flats. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's the ultimate bucket list is to visit the Salt Flats.
Yeah.
But also like I want to see the arches. I want to see all the red rock. I just want to see Goblins State Park. To be able to
From Harry
camp
Potter.
in one of the state parks.
Right.
And to do it with a like in like one of those Sprinter vans
Oh, yeah.
where like you have like you would stay in
Yeah, it's like a
camp in
camper.
your van.
Yeah.
So like a whole trip like that, not
Nice.
like just drive down, stay in a house, something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's absolute bucket list vacation. So when that does happen, I will have a full podcast ready to go.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
to do like make a whole short film about it and almost like a documentary because of it being like absolute top of the line bucket list item.
Right.
I would say just Utah as a whole, but those
Yeah.
specific places like absolutely.
Right.
And like obviously to go anywhere out west is the ultimate goal. So maybe it's like, oh well, to go out west, but honestly, like I would
Utah's
rather
mostly.
go out
To a
and
destination.
visit exactly.
Yeah,
and just
I got you.
visit say a certain portion of Utah as much as possible.
Right.
And then go again and do like, okay, well now I want to
Travel.
go to all the way out to Washington, Oregon, like that.
That makes sense.
So
I
bucket
like
list
that.
vacation.
Yeah. I would
Yeah.
say that I don't necessarily have a bucket list vacation. I would say day trips sound better, but like
Really?
I'll go vacation and just do a bunch of day trips. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
it's
that's
just
kind
like
of how it would be. Like,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have anywhere that I'd like. Oh, I really want to go there for a week. Like I
Oh,
would go
really?
anywhere for a week.
really?
So I don't really have one specific place. I don't like. I would go to Florida. I would go to
I feel like I've heard you talk
California.
about Florida and California the
yeah.
most.
Like I would say warmer weather. I'm fall and I don't like winter very much, but like I would prefer warmer weather and just the atmosphere of like being in California. I mean, aside from everything else, because California sucks, but like
Well,
the aura around California sucks. I'd say. I don't think California like it's beautiful,
yeah.
a beautiful state. So I think that you could get the most out of going to California just because there's so much difference in like the state from one spot to another. So like I feel like that would be awesome to do, but honestly, really anywhere I would love to go visit. I wouldn't care except New Jersey.
Ironically, you go there every year.
I know,
times.
right? Exactly.
Um,
Yeah, vacations though. Canada. I
what
would
about
like
like
to go
seeing?
watch hockey in
What about
Canada or
going
play
and
hockey?
seeing something specifically? Do you care about like the Golden Gate Bridge or anything like that, or the
I mean, it would
redwoods?
or the redwoods, just because it's indoor. But I don't know. Like I would go and like look at them. I like stuff with like more. We went to Gettysburg, and I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that. So like, I don't know. Maybe go into like, if we go to New York, go to the 9/11 memorial,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Not that that's like a vacation. That would.
Well, that
yeah.
can be under
Yeah, but I
day trip.
day trip.
category.
But I would say, yeah, mostly just we went to Valley Forge a few times. I really enjoyed Valley Forge. I don't really, nowhere's like, oh my gosh, I need to go there. Like I would go to Utah.
Yeah.
I would go to any state really.
I would
Just for a
say
vacation.
also to add on to it, if I had to pick outside of the country, 1,000% would be Africa. Just strictly the wildlife.
Yeah.
Like
I don't want to get eaten, so I would say Scotland.
yeah, it would be
Or Germany.
slightly terrifying, but it would be
Yeah.
like say
No,
it's
really
for
wants to
very
go.
specific reasons. Like
Yeah.
Africa, I want to see the wildlife.
Right.
But if it's like just scenery and stuff, probably Scotland and Iceland,
Right.
and Norway.
Oh yeah.
But and go to the also like Banff. That would be
Right.
incredible. But yeah,
Banff.
like I feel like there's so many places in the United States that I want to visit and I want to see. So it's like
Yeah.
thinking outside of the country isn't
Yeah.
even like something that I really even consider because it's like
Yeah, if the threat on
I
my
wanna
life
do
wasn't
what's
so
like-
high, I would go to Mexico.
yeah.
But
There's so much that I want to do that's like within like I can just drive there
yeah,
that
yeah.
it's like I want to do all that stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, bucket list vacations. That's exciting because it's like it's exciting to keep in your mind because it's stuff that it's like it's really up to you,
Yeah,
like whether or not you do them. Like
Yeah.
going to Washington last year for the doubleheader
that was awesome.
Like,
Yeah, it was so fun.
did we ever tell the story of how we ended up doing that?
I don't think so. Should we?
Yeah, we should do that.
That was
We
the
should tell 'em
ultimate
how
day
that
trip.
happened. That was like the ultimate like spur of the moment
Guys,
decision.
weekend
Like
day trip thing.
like
Yeah, we were playing Xbox, weren't we?
yeah, we were in the middle of playing Xbox
Oh, wow,
Online.
this is, but I'm just trying to adjust it.
we were playing Xbox Online.
Yeah,
And the Phillies were playing at the moment.
that's right.
And we were both watching.
We wanted. I
slash
said about
playing
going to
Xbox.
a doubleheader
Yeah.
on Friday.
Because they
The
had a
week after.
doubleheader
Yeah, they
or
had a
something?
doubleheader coming up, and I was like, "Oh, I'll go to the doubleheader." And I was like, "Oh man, it's in
Oh
Washington."
yeah, I forgot
And Will was
about
like,
that.
"Well, how far is Washington?" And I
Yeah.
was like, "Not that far." So I was like, "All right, I'll look." So I looked, and it's only like 3 hours away at the stadium.
Yeah.
So we were just like, should we go? So we were like checking out ticket prices. Jaren just licked the crap out of my iPad. Checking out ticket prices and how it worked to go. And we were like, yeah, let's just do it. And we went.
Well, it was like funny because it was like we had never done something like that before.
Never.
And the whole trip was so awesome. It was like that.
I overslept and it was still awesome.
Yeah, the morning that.
Yeah.
The good news is I got up early because you said you wanted to go early.
Yeah.
So then I was.
Yeah. We left by the time I originally said we should leave. And then I was like, well, we could leave earlier.
Yeah.
We ended up leaving at the same time. So.
But like that 3 hour, was it 3 hours or was it like 2 and some change?
It was like 3.
It was like 3.
A little longer.
So that 3 hour drive was like the fastest 3 hour drive ever.
Yeah.
Got to our hotel. No problem.
No, we
went
to the
straight
stadium.
to the stadium.
Because the first game was starting at like 1,
Yeah,
and we
that's
got
right.
down there around 11.
Yeah.
11 or 12. So we
Yeah.
wanted to explore the stadium and do
That
like a
was
tour.
awesome.
So we
It
explored
was
the stadium.
unbelievably hot.
Yes. It was like 100 degrees.
Unbearably hot almost.
Yeah.
The first game was awesome because there was like no one there.
Yeah. It was the Nationals.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. We probably should.
It
Well,
was
if it's
the
in Washington, you know
Nationals,
baseball, then you
yeah.
know that. But
It was not,
Um,
they're not very good. So
unbelievably hot. It was really cool because there was like if you've never been there, there's like a patio with like with like all like nice like outdoor sofas.
Yeah.
Like on like the top of the stadium.
Yeah. I
We,
think
like,
that was
hung
Will's
out there.
favorite part. He
That
didn't
was so
He didn't even
cool.
like the game. He just went for the...
But yeah, and then like after the first game,
We left a little early.
We
the
weren't
first
even
game.
there at the room very long. It was
Nah.
kind of just like
Went back, got a shower, because it was, again,
took a nap and then
unbelievably hot.
and then went back and
Yeah, watched
the
the
second game was
Second game was great.
probably like 4 times as crowded.
Yeah, second game was
Um,
great too. Our seats were better in the second game.
That was
too.
when Harper came up clutch.
Yeah, everyone
that.
was booing him and chat because he was
Yeah.
used to be a national, and I was sitting there and I didn't say a word, and everyone was like, "Not my MVP," and then
Yeah.
he had a double to take the lead in the game, and I was like, "That's
It
my
was
MVP." Boom! I didn't talk too much trash because I didn't want to get killed.
You didn't want to get
Because don't be
Yeah.
that person. Don't be
Yeah.
that person that goes to an enemy stadium.
when
and
they
is a-
when
is a
they
jerk.
won, we like turned and looked at each other. We were like,
Yeah, exactly.
and
We
then
didn't cheer too
didn't
loud.
say anything.
Put our heads
then
down
just
and
went out.
walked out. Not that we would have been attacked,
Yeah.
but just don't be a jerk, Cardinals fans.
But I will say the one thing that was like,
That's a
oh
inside
yeah,
joke.
it's not really, it's not all that different than Philly. Was like the traffic and like
Yeah.
just driving down there was just like in the stadium is literally like
In the
right
city.
in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
Which was I had no idea like
Yeah,
what
it was
the
like
situation was, but
parking garages. We luckily, I mean, there's not that many people that were going, so
Yeah,
we found a
especially the first game.
parking lot right outside. And we're able to pay only for parking once because we came back later in the day and used
Yeah.
the same parking ticket, right?
yeah.
So yeah, that was cool. And then we went back to our hotel, and then we drove down to Ocean City, New Jersey.
I would
next
say
day.
like
That
okay,
was like
if
a
a day
4-hour
trip,
drive.
if a day trip can be like a day and a half, then that was like the best
Really
day trip. I
expanding
would
the
say
definition
because
of a day trip.
we went to a doubleheader
Yeah.
and then went straight to Ocean City to just chill on the beach.
Yeah.
for like, and then
Not even that long.
that
though.
was like that was so awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
But yeah, that
A
was
lot of driving though.
major spur of the moment, but it didn't take long.
No, it didn't.
I felt like
But
it flew.
But leaving Ocean City, I was like, all
You
right,
ready to be done driving?
I'm about
Yeah.
to just swerve off the bridge. But it was really fun. I got sunscreen in my eye, though. That wasn't fun. Because it was so unbelievably hot. And when you put
Yeah.
sunblock on while you're sweating, it doesn't really fully set in. So I was sweating. It was running into my eyes. I think there's a video of me over by the fan, like, drenching my eyes with water because I was crying pretty much because there was burning my eyelids out. One thing, though, was it more expensive? It was more expensive. The food was it not?
Oh my gosh!
It
you
was-
got like a chicken sandwich that was maybe yay big.
Yeah, it
Like,
was
normal.
disgusting,
Like
too.
imagine like a McDonald's chicken sandwich
Yeah,
off the dollar menu, $16
$16.
with no fries or a drink.
Yeah,
That was just a sandwich.
yeah.
And like I would say prices at like the Phillies game or
Is
the Sixers
are
or Fly-
outrageous.
outrageous. There was like
unbelievably
worse,
outrageous.
like surprisingly worse.
Yes.
I didn't think it was good. I expected it to be expensive.
Yeah, but it was unbelievably expensive.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I was shocked. Food was decent. Like the chicken
Well, I
sandwich
got
you
a
got
se- the-
obviously not
the-
worth the price.
The second
but
chicken sandwich. Yeah, I got the second chicken sandwich because the first one was small, and I think that was only like $10. Only $10
Yeah.
for a crappy chicken sandwich. But I got another chicken sandwich that was like the size of a Popeye's chicken sandwich.
yeah.
With the same, pickles and lettuce and stuff, and that was about $21 just for the sandwich. Ludicrous.
Yeah.
We still spent the money,
Absurd.
but ludicrous nonetheless.
Yeah, but we're gonna be idiots and not buy it.
I know we're starving.
It's 100 degrees out. We gotta do something to make us
Exactly.
happy.
Though that night was beautiful.
Yeah,
I would
it
say. I
was.
think that night went down to
as
like
soon
90, and it was breezy.
yeah, but
When the
it's-
sun went down.
Yeah, once the
Yeah.
sun went down, it wasn't.
It was
bad.
nice. Yeah.
But yeah, that was like probably the best.
Yeah.
Like day trip
Definitely.
thing that definitely the best that we've ever done.
Yeah.
But day trips, like in general,
And they won both games. So it was
Oh
like,
yeah, and the second game was like really good.
Yeah.
But day trips, just to kind of like, I'll like finish off my day trips discussion with, like, anytime like we get up early on a Saturday morning and like just are out all
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
like going to Hickory Run and to just literally doing whatever we
Walk,
think
yeah.
of, or like going on hikes and stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing's really like, I will never get tired of that. So
Right.
that's like something that I look forward to.
Yeah.
Like as far as like a bucket list.
Yeah.
I don't
Going
really
to
know
Lancaster
enough.
and stuff, and going
I
like
don't really know enough about like what's like close or what's
Yeah.
like it's where it's like that's like a bucket list.
we
but-
always just say we want to branch out, but then we always end up just kind
but
of.
it's like it's hard because like there's so many.
It's hard because you don't want to go do something dumb and waste your day, but at the same time, like we've never really had that issue.
Well, it's like you go to the Pinelands and there's
Yeah.
like 100 different areas that you could go.
You
so
could
it's
go,
like,
yeah.
oh well, we could go somewhere new, or we could go to this place that we know, but it's also a new part of that place that we already know.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, there's not a ton that's like close to us, and then it's like, all right, well, you got to find an open Saturday, and
Yeah. Not
yeah,
many
day
of
trips can be
those.
tough
Yeah.
to do, but
Well, if you
it's kind of
plan
got
them,
to
they're
be
always
like a
usually-
weekend trip.
Yeah. They're
That
usually always
works
fun.
better. I would like to, if possible, discuss like bucket list film that we want to make.
We just talked about film last episode.
But we didn't say like a bucket list item that we wanted to do, did we?
Like I said, you mentioned bucket list.
Well, that's
No,
what we're
yeah,
talking
I
about.
know. Yeah, bucket list film that we want to do.
I guess it's like kind of hard because if I think
We
about
kinda
it,
wanna
because
do
it's
it
like
all.
we want to, but like it's like the idea. We don't know what the bucket list idea is. It's more just like to do a full length feature
Yeah,
film.
to do something really interesting and really, but that's
To do
the
a
goal
full
on all
length
of them.
feature film
Yeah,
that has a full squad, a full a budget,
yeah,
and everything that kind of like comes along to kind of make it a legitimate process.
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I guess that's kind of tough because like we don't really have like a. If we did, we probably wouldn't want to tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's
Yeah.
that's true.
Screw off.
Jerks.
But bucket list goal of where we want to go with it, But I mean, we kind of already discussed that a lot.
Yeah,
They're probably tired of hearing about film.
Well, you know
Let us
what?
know in the comment. Are you tired of us talking about filmmaking?
but we're not tired of it.
No, definitely not.
But you
This
know
is a
what?
Podcast
I
about
guess
us.
bucket list right now. Our
Yeah.
biggest goal is to enter into a film festival.
Which there's another one coming
There's
out
another
tomorrow.
contest
being announced
being
tomorrow.
announced tomorrow, which
Very,
Very
excited,
excited.
for. I'm hoping it's not horror, just because they're probably gonna do a
I
horror
think
one
it
in
is.
October. But if it is, then we should talk to what's his name
several people
about his suggestion.
know.
Yeah, somebody reached out about an idea, so we'll get
Yeah.
in contact with them.
But
We'll have to see what the parameters are though, and see what it's up.
yeah, I want to keep. So hopefully you're not tired of the filmmaking talk because I
She is like biting all of her.
just biting her.
She's just
entire
going
phone.
from
Journey,
one to
girl.
another.
Journey. No. Okay, never mind.
She's like, oh, I'll bite the other side. Then.
Because as we start getting more and more involved in this new contest, I feel like we're going to want to be giving them updates.
True.
So look forward to that.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
We're going to be starting it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And when you hear this,
That'll be.
it would have been last Friday
Yeah,
when we
it'll
started.
be Tuesday when you hear this. It'll be last Friday. So we'll be deep into it.
Yeah. Probably editing. Depending on how much time they give us, because we don't know.
Editing?
Well, we don't know how much time. That's what I'm saying. We don't know.
Even if they give us a week, we're not going to be editing on Tuesday.
We'll see. We'll keep you guys updated. So you got any other
Dream on. I don't want to get copyrighted.
you got any other bucket list items that you want to talk about?
Bucket list items. I would say a bucket list item for me is for our podcast to be my job.
Oh, like just like your goal and aspirations, your dreams and aspirations.
Bucket list goal, yeah. Bucket list goal would be able to do something. I mean, not just this. I would like to be able to do. We talked about skits.
This is where I was gonna go with it.
That's what I wanted to do. Is a lot of stuff like that. Do a lot of YouTube stuff. I don't want to be a YouTube star, but you know what I mean.
You want to be a YouTuber. You want to just be like a creative.
Yes.
Person that can express their work somewhere, and that somewhere happens to be
YouTube. I like the short form. I like these. I like doing skits and stuff like that. I think that'd be really cool.
I kind of
do this as a job.
I kind of envision this podcast, like we've said before. My ultimate goal that I am kind of hoping for is that it kind of turns into not just a podcast, to where maybe it's like, okay, well, we have another section of this,
right?
That to where, like, I'm sure that there would be plenty of people that'd be like, no, don't get rid of, like, we wouldn't want to get rid of the podcast, but I could see it turning into more than that.
Definitely, yeah.
To where it's like more of like a, hey, this is the Everyman Guys.
Yeah.
We do this.
I want to veer more into comedy, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think that's really where my strength is right now. And I really want to do some, like, SNL type stuff. Not exactly that stuff, but you know what I mean? Like
short form comedy.
Short form comedy stuff that's, like, really not too complicated, but not, she's just exploring. Not too complicated and not too much, like, people, like, have to really devote. It's like a short form, like, oh, that's a cool skit. Like, you know what I mean? I really, really want to do that. Like I've said before, I want to do a play, but I don't know how likely that is, but that would be really cool to do.
I want to keep the meaningful, like deep feeling projects on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
Not on the horizon. What is that? On our board, because, like, I feel like that's really satisfying to complete. Like, but yeah, like the short form comedy, even if it's not comedy, but like the short form stuff, I think is where our strength is right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, I totally agree that that's kind of where I want to almost, like we've talked about it before, but like perfect the short form stuff.
Yeah.
Because that can kind of translate to when we feel ready to do a full length feature film.
Yep. And I think it's really going to be, like, I really want to flex, but, like, flex the comedy muscle part of, like, all this stuff. Like, I really want to, we really haven't to the extent we could.
Like, really at all.
And, like,
UR2 has a little bit of it.
A little bit, yeah, but it's more of a not serious, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not as funny.
Yeah. And it wasn't really ever meant to be.
Yeah. So I would like to do more, like, because I really think that doing it together, we could make it really funny, really good stuff. So,
Yeah, we haven't, now that I think of it,
we haven't really
done, like, any comedy.
And,
which is surprising.
Want to go, I think, with this, kind of lean more into comedy as we go forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? More like not performance. I don't
more,
not fake, but you know what I mean? More like, this is great. I love just sitting here and talking, and that's great. I think, though, like, now that we're doing 2 a week and we're getting more into it, like, start doing more where we're, like, more would you rathers and more games and, like,
Yeah,
stuff
I
like that,
think-
getting more into like us being like funny and
I think that's where the Would You Rather episode like shined.
Yeah.
Because it was like it was
And
so
the
easy. It was
Olympic
like
one.
natural. Yes,
Yeah,
it was natural
those two.
because we were kind of like, which I think that's why like being say like a stand-up comic is so hard because it's
Yeah.
like you're planning out your comedy
yeah.
as opposed to just reacting off
Right.
of like say a situation or something that was said.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's where it was really easy doing Would You Rather
Yeah,
in
definitely.
the Olympics. It was
Yeah.
like we were just reacting off of what was said or
Right.
what the question was.
Yeah, exactly.
And we also said about that we want to do like a Would You Rather episode every so often.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
to kind of like I thought that was so fun. Like that
Yeah, it was
like
really
something
fun.
that I really want to
really
do.
fun. If you want to go check that out, that's episode 8, right? Episode 8 or 9.
I don't recall. Episode 10 was just the last episode, and that was talking about reaching 10 episodes. Episode 9 was about trends and TikTok. So episode 8, I believe, is Would You Rather. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. So yeah.
But
Episode
yeah,
8, go
so,
check it out.
Bucket list items. How about we go? Bucket list
To do stand up.
to do stand up.
I really want to do
That's-
stand up
that-
sometime.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Tell me. I want to hear all about this. I want to hear
if
like
I had the
I want
opportunity.
to hear the
if I
biggest
had,
rant that you have
biggest,
on this.
It would be. It would. I don't know if a rant is a good thing, but if I had the opportunity, if there was like an open mic night somewhere and I knew about it, I would go do it.
Oh,
Without a
that
doubt.
sounds like
Without a
sounds like
doubt.
a unbelievably what's the word? Stressful thing to imagine diving into.
I agree. It sounds, but it would be my dream. I love stand up comedy. I think I'd be good at it
I think you would be as well.
because I really think I have watched stand up comedy since I was like real young. You know, like Tim Hawkins. Tim Hawkins is one of the first people I listened to. He was always hilarious. We had a little DVD my parents got that it was the Bananas Comedy Club or
Yeah.
something like that, and it was really like mild humor or whatever. Like I think it was Christian, but it was like there were some really funny people on it.
Yeah.
And I watched that so many times, and Tim Hawkins was the funniest. And then Jim Gaffigan at a young age.
I would say Jim Gaffigan
hit
is
really
probably
hard.
the funniest.
He's he's up there for me. He's one of the best.
I appreciate him so much because he's 98% clean.
Yeah,
With his
exactly.
comedy, I mean, every once in a while,
Yeah.
there's something in there that's like,
Yeah.
say, whatever,
Mhm.
just preference. I don't
Yeah.
listen to the comedy that's like more on the not so clean side,
Mhm.
and that's just preference, personal
Yeah.
preference. But genuinely, I think he's like got to be one of the funniest that we watch now.
Definitely, yeah.
So stand up comedy, like, so you're writing your own jokes, like that's something that you want to do.
I have like a whole set.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have
You
a whole
should-
set.
You know, would you be willing to read it out on a podcast and we could like
I
react
don't-
to it?
I read it out
Yeah. Why not?
because it wouldn't hit the same.
Okay, but
Because it's a stand-up routine.
if we get 100 thumbs up on this video, will you do it?
I'll do some sort of it. Like maybe we'll set it up to where I'll do stand-up in front of our friends or something.
And we'll do
And
it as a
record it
bonus
as, like,
episode.
a bonus episode.
If we get 100 thumbs up on this.
Yeah, if we get
100
100 thumbs
likes.
up and at
Why are we saying
least
thumbs up?
20
So old.
at least 20 comments.
Okay, 20 comments and 100 likes on this video, and Jim will do stand up. Deal?
Deal.
Okay.
Okay.
You have it here. The proof is right here
Yeah.
in episode 11 of the Everyman Guys.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've written like a full set before?
Yeah, I've done it in my head 1,000 times.
So when you're
perfected jokes. I've made myself laugh a bunch of times.
So-
I feel like stuff that would work.
So like, what do you? So you're writing a whole set, or you're thinking of an entire routine. Is there like a? Is it the same as like a story? Like say when you wrote "You Are Too," you have the plot, the intro, the plot, the climax, the ending, and then kind of like the whole overall broad scope of what the story is going to be.
Yeah.
Is that the same for stand up, or is it,
It
like
depends.
here's these set of jokes, here's these set of jokes,
It
here's
depends.
these?
They're very different comics that do very different things. Stand-up comedy is very varied, and people don't really realize that a lot. Like Jim Gaffigan is more of like a observationist. That's like one of the main ones is observationist. Like, do you ever notice,
Yeah,
Cinnabons,
yeah.
and he makes comments about that. Bill Burr, similar to that, like, you ever see this nowadays or whatever? Dave Chappelle is like a storyteller. Like, he's much more like, so this happened to me the other day, and, talk about that. And there's, angry comics who get up there and just yell. There are prop comics like Carrot, you know what I mean? But I would say I'm much more along the lines of like a mix between Dave Chappelle and Jim Gaffigan, where it's like some are stories that you're telling about yourself, but like mix it in like observational. Like it's
That sounds amazing.
I-
I would love to hear like a full set that even if you just like made it up and
Yeah.
then like it wasn't even something that you already had pre-planned or something
Right.
like that.
It would just be. I would even. It wouldn't even be like need to be a job. I would love it to be a job, but I wouldn't even need it to be a job. If I could just do it like
Just because
as like a
you want
hobby,
to. Yeah.
that'd be amazing.
There's nothing holding you back. You definitely could do it.
Yeah, maybe.
But what was I gonna say is like the idea of like writing jokes, like original jokes, and like trying to produce like a funny show from scratch. Like I feel like I wouldn't even know because like I feel like to be funny is like
Yeah.
for me is like very much so like kind of off of what happens or what's said.
Yeah.
It's like a
Reactionary.
reaction kind of funny.
Yeah, yeah.
So like making it from scratch, like what's your mindset going into it to where you're like do you start with like something that happened
I know
to
what
you,
I
or-
find funny. Like for example, like I always told the story when we went. Me and my family went away for Thanksgiving up the mountains. We went horseback riding. I think I told it on the podcast. Did I not?
Yeah,
We went
yeah.
horseback riding. Well, the horse that I was riding was not very much of a horse. And I just did a whole like routine, like not a routine, but you know what I mean? Like we were in a car. I was in the car in a van with a bunch of kids my age and, and I was telling this story and, I was exaggerating, you know what I mean? And like doing it like a stand-up bit.
Yeah.
And like everybody from the parents in the car to like the older kids to like even kids who weren't really my friends.
Yeah.
They were like dying. I was like, I could do like
You want
it
to
felt
do it.
so good. It felt
Yeah.
so good to do it because I knew I was crazy. Like it wasn't a totally accurate representation,
Yeah.
but I made it my own. I made it into something that was really funny. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I'm the next prodigy of. I would just like to do it. I would just like to try it.
I would love to see it. I would love to see you do it
I would-
on this podcast and then kind
The
of
only
react off
issue
it.
is like stand up is like a crowd.
True, like
you know what
you're
I mean?
kind of like reacting off the crowd's energy.
Exactly,
sort of.
exactly.
Yeah, I could see
That's
that.
what a lot of people say is like you can't really practice it because you don't know if people are going to find a certain joke funny. So then you can't keep going on that tangent
Yeah.
because if they don't find it funny, you got to kind of move on quickly. Or like,
Yeah. You know what I always find so impressive with stand-up comics is when they're doing like their routine and they have these jokes planned.
yeah,
Like that obviously in and of itself I think is like impressive that they
Right.
can come up with jokes that are genuinely funny just from
Yeah.
scratch or say
right.
using something that had happened to them or an experience.
Yeah.
But when someone from the crowd interacts with them and then they make a joke off of
Off
that
of
just from
that.
scratch,
Yeah,
to where it's like
A lot
what
of
they
comics like that.
said doesn't even necessarily there's not even really a lot to like
Right,
make a joke
exactly.
off of.
exactly.
But that is always I always find that so impressive.
yeah, yeah.
Like to kind of just like
And that's
turn it
something-
into a whole bit.
that's something that I feel like is interesting about it is because I feel like not a lot of people can do it.
Yeah.
There isn't a ton of people who could do that, and I would have tried to be part of that group of people who
Yeah.
could do that.
Can
And,
react off of it.
Yeah.
Are there like This is kind of turned into an interview about comedy, but I'm okay with it. Are there like rules to comedy? Like not rules, but like say parameters or
Guidelines
that you could follow to be like, hey, if you want to be more funny, do this.
I don't think so. I think it's a lot of your delivery is a lot of it. You know what I mean? Like that was what that would be why I wouldn't really like to read it. Just read it out on a podcast because you know what I mean. It's more of like the entertainment value. You have to have the personality type for it.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have to be like interesting enough for people to be like, oh, that's funny. You know what I mean? Like, because their delivery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You see a bunch of people with a bunch of different deliveries, but you really find it funny based on their delivery. And I feel like that's something that I really have studied and been like, okay, how do I want to deliver my jokes versus how some other people deliver theirs? You know what I mean? And also just, parameters just as far as like how to like come up with them, sort of. Not like kind
like,
of
what do you know
thing.
to say to come up with a joke?
I just think
like
what
from
I
scratch.
find, I just think, honestly, it's like it's hard because you don't want to go and be like, oh well, I just listened to this comic and because that's his joke and that's his delivery.
That's true.
So you want
That's
to find
true.
your own thing. I just kind of practice out in public and just, you know what I mean? Like I'm always joking and try to like come up with stuff while I'm just talking with my friends and like being out and stuff. Like I always try to be like,
and like kind of keep the comedy going.
Kind of keep the conversation going by saying something ridiculous and fun. Like, you know what I mean? And trying to be funny and stuff like that. So I feel like that's kind of me practicing how I would do it on stage or how I would do it in a stand-up situation. But it's like writing jokes is like, it's weird because I got to really just do them. Like I'll write, I'll be like, say it and start doing it in my head and like pretending how I was saying, like, okay, yeah, that's how I would say it or do it. You know what I mean? So,
That's very interesting.
Yes.
Because like the thought of, like I just said, but the thought of being in a situation where, I mean, being in front of a crowd, not so much, but the idea that these are your jokes, and you're coming up with them, you're creating them, and you think they're funny, so you're now going to go tell hundreds, depending on how big this whatever your crowd is, but hundreds of people this joke that only you know and that only you think is funny at the time, and then try to make it funny to all of them. Like I could see to where it's like just like a reactionary joke is not so hard, but coming up with one and then
think of it like this: you got to walk up on stage and make them laugh.
They have to kind of like you right off the bat.
Kind of, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of, you know what I mean? Like, don't be one of those guys. It's like, how's everybody doing? Oh, you could do better than that. You know what I mean? Like,
well, now I'm doing horrible.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you really have to come off as someone likable, or the exact opposite, be very unlikable and be funny in that way that you're unlikable. You know what I mean? Like, it's very hard to do.
That's a good point. Because I was gonna point that out, that to be a likable person, but. I
watch a ton of interviews with comedians. I watch tons of stand-up comedy. I watch it so that I can see their behavior, and because it's not just standing up there being like, and then I saw this that was funny. Unless that's your thing, you know what I mean? Like some people might find that funny, but you know what I mean. Like most people are like they have a certain like stance and how often they take a drink or how often they have the microphone on a stand or whether they like to walk around with it or how they like to hold it. You know what I mean? Like there's just hundreds of different little things that make it unique, and I would just like to
get in on that.
Yes.
Well, if it makes you feel any better or motivates you to go with it, I am very much so hoping we hit that 100 like mark and that 20 comment mark, because it doesn't have to be a whole stand-up situation.
Right.
I would just like to hear a set that you had planned out prior.
I mean, it's not like I have nothing that's like an hour long.
Or even just like read it out and kind of
20.
like talk about like what you were thinking.
Yeah.
Like that would be really interesting to me.
Maybe one day I'll set it up and we can do like where I can do somewhat really, Journey.
Journey's coming in.
Step on my phone. You're stepping on my phone.
She's coming in.
Coming in hot.
I will kind of, here she comes.
Oh my gosh. Journey, go. Go.
I would like to thank you for
She's like, I can't go.
coming along.
She's just stepping on all the kids. She's like, how do I get it?
I'm just gonna. Sorry, you won't.
Sorry, am I in your
notice me.
shot?
I'll be out here really fast.
I'm moving. I'm going.
I would like to thank you for coming along.
Yes.
Episode 11 with us.
Let's give us a hand for getting past 10.
We're past 10, and that was past tense, like because of English.
Yeah.
Yeah, another Would You Rather episode. How do we feel about like every 15? Is that like a good round number?
Let's just go with it. Whenever
Let's
we
go
do
with
it, we'll do it.
There's probably another Would You Rather episode coming soon.
In the next few weeks.
Next episode, we don't currently have planned, but we will. And
We'll announce it on Instagram when we.
yeah. So follow us on Instagram, the Everyman Guys, and yeah, that is essentially
show.
it. But there is one other thing
There is something else.
that I forgot to tell them,
What's that?
and that was that for next episode. Thank you for watching this episode, and we'll see you in the next one. Oh, we literally
Crushed
that was
the headphones.
missed completely.